Welcome back to the Expat Review, where we explore all things expat. Rob here, your guide to navigating the thrilling, sometimes challenging, but always fascinating world of expat life. Today I'm going a totally different route. Now, we're not diving deep into one specific destination, but instead, I'm going to bring you a global snapshot, the latest news, trends, and hitting expat hotspots from around the world. So grab your virtual passport because we've got a packed itinerary of updates from Mexico to Malaysia and everywhere in between. For all you dreaming of sunnier shores and a slower pace, let's kick things off with Mexico. Now, Mexico's still a magnet for expats and visitors, especially from the US and Canada, thanks to its affordable living, vibrant culture, and sunny vibes. Cities like Mexico City, Mérida, and Playa del Carmen are buzzing with foreigners drawn by low rents. Think about $500 to $900 for a one-bedroom and a welcoming community. Now, posts on X have been highlighting the temporary resident visa as the go-to for Americans, requiring about a $4,000 monthly income or $70,000 in savings for financial solvency. Heads up, I can't afford that, but maybe you can. The days of perpetual tourism, though, of repeating those 100-day visitor permits, they're fading. Immigration crackdown using computerized systems to track entries, so border runs might raise those red flags at ports of entry. Now, for those eyeing the part-time living, Mexico's long hosted snowbirds, escaping those harsh winters, especially in places like Puerto Vallarta. Recent articles are noted that Canadians and Americans love the flexibility of splitting time with easy travel back home. Full-time movers, meanwhile, are motivated by the rising costs and political tensions in their home countries. Now, Mexico's residency process, it's straightforward. Apply abroad, show financials, and you're set for a temporary residency, which you can transition to a permanent one after a few years. Now, I've been reading about people raving about how simple it is, but with some securing permanent residency without the lawyers. Now, challenges. Of course, Tropical Storm Sara just hit the Yucatan, causing flooding risks of expat-heavy spots like Cancun. So, weather, of course, always a factor. Also, Trump's 25% tariffs on those non-USMCA goods from Mexico, reported by Reuters, could raise costs for expats relying on the imported stuff. Though, those USMCA covered items remain tariff-free. Now, on the flip side, Mexico's pushing back with the economy minister negotiating hard for preferential trade terms. So safety-wise, most expat hubs, they're calm, but bizarre cases of a Michigan couple jailed over a timeshare dispute noted that it has spooked some travelers, including myself. Now, still, Mexico City's a global draw, with neighborhoods like Condesa packed with expats enjoying the world-class food, culture, and the New York Times has recently highlighted as such. So, whether you're visiting for a quick getaway or planning a new life, Mexico's got options. Just plan your visa carefully and watch the weather. Now let's move south. Recent news from South America, specifically focused on expats, it's been a little bit quieter. Now, South America's a hotspot for expats and travelers, with countries like Colombia, Argentina, Cuba drawing crowds for their affordability and charm. In Colombia, Medellin's El Poblador and Bogota's Chaparino are buzzing with rents. $400 to $800 a month in groceries, about $200 to $300. Now, the Migrant M visa is a breeze for retirees and remote workers. And Colombia's ninth happiest ranking for expats globally seals the deal. Now, Post also, of course, hyped the 0% tax on foreign income if structured right, making it a haven for those digital nomads. Now, Argentina's Buenos Aires is another draw with its European vibe and low costs. Think about $500 for a decent apartment. Though inflation's a headache, Chile's residency, the process is a bit slower. Who's navigating it alongside Mexico and Paraguay? But its stability and stunning landscapes still makes it popular. Now, Brazil's vibrant culture and beaches like Copacabana are pulling in short-term travelers, while Uruguay's laid-back Punta del Este lures those part-timers. Ecuador and Peru are also regaining traction for their natural beauty, low cost of living, with Ecuador's Quinta a retiree favorite. Now, challenges, residency processes across the region, they're getting trickier and slower, so plan ahead. Of course, the tariffs could nudge the costs up for expats in countries like Brazil or Argentina, who are reliant on a lot of imports. Plus, South America's not immune to the political noise. Argentina's economic woes and Brazil's trade tensions with the U.S. Might affect long-term plans. Now, full-time expats, Costa Rica and Panama, they stand out, with Costa Rica topping the global rankings for its friendly locals and Panama offering those tax perks. Both are easy to settle into, with English widely spoken. Now, whether you're chasing a quick adventure or a new home, South America, it got options. Just pack for patience and bureaucracy. Well, while we're in that area, let's turn to the Caribbean. The Caribbean's booming with tourists and expats alike, with visa-free travel fueling record numbers of visitors in places like Jamaica, the Bahamas, and the Dominican Republic. Now, Jamaica just welcomed 8,571 Carnival visitors alone in April. That's up 15.5%, and the Bahamas is on track to hit 12 million visitors this year. Now, Canadians are flocking here as U.S. border controls tighten, drawn by sunny beaches, upgraded airports, and the events like St. Lucia's Creole Heritage Month. Delta's adding holiday flights from Boston to spots like St. Vincent, making short trips a lot easier. But you know what? Watch out. Christmas and New Year's bookings are filling up well in advance. Now, part-timers or full-time living, Dominican Republic, that's the standout right there. It's got the 0% tax on foreign income and easy residency visas for Americas. Now, rents like in Santo Domingo or Calabria run about $400 to $800, with food and utilities at $200 to $300. Private health care is affordable. And then, of course, you have Belize. It's another expat magnet, especially for retirees, as Central America's only English-speaking country. Now, of course, with low costs and low language barrier, you can't go wrong. Now, Barbados and the Cayman Islands also draw part-timers with their tax-friendly policies and modern amenities, but the costs much higher. Now, challenges. Of course, weather in the Caribbean, it's a big one. Now, that tropical storm Sara that we talked about with Mexico, it battered parts of the Caribbean, raising flood risks in low-lying expat hubs like the Honduras coast. Royal Caribbean pause. It stops in Haiti due to the gang violence spilling beyond the Port-au-Prince on the street. So, you know what? Safety advisories linger for places like Trinidad and Tobago, with a level 3 warning from the U.S. State Department citing crime risks. Now, the Bahamas, Nassau has a level 2 caution for gang activities in those non-tourist areas. But cruise ports, they're going to remain busy. Now, for expats, the Caribbean's diversity is a draw. Smaller islands like the Dominican Republic, they offer cheap marina slips for sailboat living. But the bureaucracy, it can be slow. And of course, right now, dealing with the Trump, tariffs, it's bumping up the import costs, which seem to be affecting these smaller areas quicker, especially like countries like Jamaica. Now, whether you're chasing a quick getaway or a new home, Caribbean's got it all. Just plan for the storms, the paperwork. And let's hop over to the vibrant world of Southeast Asia, a region that's constantly attracting expats, including myself, with a unique blend of culture and affordability. Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam leading the charge. Of course, for visitors, the region's bouncing back big time. Ho Chi Minh City smashing the tourist records with that new airport terminals and the metro lines opening soon. Thailand's Phuket and Koh Phi Phi are packed with backpackers thanks to that visa-free entry for 60 days for Americans. Now, Malaysia's visa-free for 90 days, and Kuala Lumpur's buzzing right now with the cultural festivals like the Creative KL, and it's making it a hot spot for those short trips. Now, part-time or full-time living digital nomads and retirees, they're flocking to places like Chiang Mai, Bali, Hanoi. Thailand's long-term resident LTR visa, and now that's going to require about $2,400 of monthly income or $80,000 in savings. Now, this is a hit, of course, for remote workers. Now, Malaysia's day rentau nomad pass, that's drawing crowds to Kuala Lumpur, and the rents of the 500 to 800 range with vibrant speaking English scene there. Now, Bali's remote worker visa, that's the E33G. It lets you stay over a year and has co-working spaces of like anywhere from $600 to $1,000 rents. A big draw for them, though. You know what, believe it or not, for being such nomad, I found that the internet can be spotty. Just saying. Vietnam's Hanoi offers colonial charm at $400 to $700 rents, but you know what, you gotta have an e-visa for stays over 15 days. Challenges, of course, weather. Monsoon season's in full swing in Thailand and Vietnam with the short but heavy rains, so pack for wet afternoons. Scams like the fake temple closures or motorbike damage claims, they're common, so stick to the main entrances and check rental gear. Now, Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on, of course, the goods, raising the cost for expats, like countries like Indonesia. Safety's solid. Southeast Asia, it ranks as one of the world's safest regions. But, avoid southern Thailand's conflict zones. Whether you're island hopping or setting up base, you know what? Southeast Asia, it's got affordability. It's got culture. It's got connectivity. Just nail your visa and, avoid the raindrops. I think that's a winner. And then let's cover something else that I don't normally cover. Singapore, yes. You know what? It still consistently ranks as one of the most expensive cities globally. But I'm going to tell you, it has a draw of expats with those high salaries, top-notch healthcare, and its strategic location for exploring the rest of Southeast Asia. It also considered, obviously, very safe for expats, which is a major plus for many. But, you got to be prepared for that much higher cost of living. Now, Western Europe, we're going to move over. Okay? Vibrant, but pricey. Now, think Spain, Portugal, Germany, Netherlands. It's buzzing with travelers and expats. Tourism's thriving, with Spain especially seeing 85 million visitors in 2024, and they're expecting more in 2025. Now, the off-season spots like Malaga and Lisbon, they're hot for the budget travelers, with flights from the U.S. have been dipping as low as like $300 for round trip. Now, Paris is calming down post-Olympics, offering cheaper hotels and revamped metro. It's going to be more ideal for, weekend getaways. Now, short visits, the big news that European Travel Information and Authorization Systems, the ETIAS, it's rolling out for 2025. Americans will need this $7 online approval for that visa-free travel to the 30 countries, including France and Italy. Now, it's quick, but don't forget it. Now, the UK's Electronic Travel Authorization, the ETA, it's already live for those non-visa holders. Part-time, full-time living. You know what? Portugal, it's still stealing the show. Lisbon and Porto offer rents around 600 to 900 euros. So you're looking at what? $650 to $1,000. And the D7 visa for retirees or remote workers, pretty straightforward. Just show like a 820 euro monthly income, you're good as gold. Now, Denmark's Copenhagen, it's a gem for work-life balance, with those 84% of expats raving about its 39-hour work weeks, though rents are hitting about $1,300 US. Now, Germany's freelancer visas, popular in Berlin, but you need client contracts and 10,000 euros in savings. Now, some of the challenges right now for Western Europe, living costs, cities like Amsterdam or London, they can bite. Expect easily more than $1,800 for a one bedroom. Of course, the tariffs, we got to keep talking about the tariffs because that's what it keeps giving me. But Western Europe's infrastructure and cultural riches, it keeps it a top pick for many. Now, Eastern Europe, just kind of the opposite. Affordable and adventurous. Now, Eastern Europe's on the rise, with Poland, Romania, and Georgia luring more budget-conscious travelers and expats. Now, tourism's up 10% year on year, with Latvia and Serbia seeing 20% jumps, thanks to access for Romania and Bulgaria. Now, Krakow and Budapest, they're still way dirt cheap. Daily cost about $40-50 a day. Now, for visitors, gems like Albania and Georgia shine. Americans can stay visa-free in Albania for a full year, along with Georgia. Perfect for exploring Tirana's colorful streets or Batum's Black Sea vibe. Now, Montenegro's 90-day visa-free stay, it's a hit for yacht-loving nomads in Kotor. Expats are settling in too. You know what? Right now, Poland, Warsaw is offering modern flats for about 500 to 700 euros. So figure 550 to 750 US. And a 50% GDP growth since 2014. Now, Romania's digital nomad, it's a breeze. Prove that you got $3,700 monthly income, and Budapest is yours. Now we're talking about $450 rents. Georgia is a freelancer's dream, with co-worker spaces and $500 rents, though winter's kind of chilly. Now, downside, Eastern Europeans' job market pays way less than the West. Poland's average salary is about $1,600 monthly, I think. So remote work for these places is the key. Ukraine's conflict keeps them a little bit wary, but you know what? Poland and Hungary are safe, according to our U.S. State Department. But you gotta remember, overstaying visas in stricter countries like Russia, You know what? That means fines, bans. Check the rules, people. Check the rules and don't break them. Western Europe's your go-to for polished cities and job opportunities, while Eastern Europe delivers on the adventure and the unbeatable value. Whether you're sipping espresso in Lisbon or hiking in the Carpathians, Europe's got something for every expat. Now finally, let's touch on a few other noteworthy expat destinations which I never talk about. New Zealand, because it's frequently topping as the top choice for American expats, boasting a clean environment, friendly locals, and a surprising easy access to, the Southeast Asian cuisine. It's politically stable and stunning natural beauty. Oh my God, it's undeniable. Then we have the United Arab Emirates. Pretty much Dubai remains a massive global expat hub with over 80% of its population are pretty much expats from over 200 countries. Now that's futuristic architecture, tax-free environment, in some aspects, an incredibly worldly experience. They're huge attractions. Just be sure to factor in those potentially higher living costs. There you have it. A whirlwind tour of the latest expat news and trends from around the globe. Weather updates to emerging hotspots and ever-present alluring affordability and lifestyle. World of expat life, it's constantly evolving. So, what are you seeing in your part of the expat world? Share your insights, any news we might have missed in your comments below. You know what? We'd love hearing from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like this video, you know what? Let me know. Because you got to hit that notification bell and not miss any of these deep dives or overall things, like I just brought, of the world of international living. So until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, keep that expat spirit alive. I haven't been able to do videos every single day because we're having some issues here. But as long as I still have this channel, we are going to keep on moving forward. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.